The Lost Address in the Rain. It was a rainy afternoon in the city. Lucas was walking quickly down the street with a small piece of paper in his hand. On the paper, there was an address. He stopped near a small cafe and looked around. Suddenly, he saw a man standing near the door. Lucas walked toward him and said politely, "Can I ask you a question?" The man smiled and said, "Sure." Lucas said, "I'm looking for this address." He showed the paper. The man looked at it carefully and said, "Oh, I know that place. But first, I've heard a lot about you. Are you the new art teacher from Paris?" Lucas was surprised. "Yes," he said, "that's me." The man laughed and said, "My friend works at the language school. He told me about you." Lucas smiled. Then the man asked, "What are you up to?" Lucas looked at the paper again and said, "Right now, I'm trying to find this place." The man nodded. Lucas added, "I'm on my way to meet a friend there." The man pointed behind Lucas and said, "You're going the wrong way." Lucas laughed nervously. "Oh, really?" The man nodded and explained, "Turn left at the corner. It's just around the corner." Lucas looked relieved. "Oh, great! Is it far?" The man shook his head. "It's within walking distance." Lucas then asked, "How long does it take?" "Only 5 minutes," the man replied. Just then, a drop of rain hit Lucas's face. Then another. Lucas looked up and asked, "What's the weather like today?" The man laughed. "Look around you. It's raining." Lucas pulled up his jacket. "And honestly," the man added, "it's freezing cold." Lucas laughed and said, "Yesterday in Paris it was the opposite. It's boiling hot there." They both laughed. Just then, Lucas's phone buzzed. It was a message from his friend Anna. She wrote, "Where are you? We're waiting." Lucas replied quickly, "I'm on my way." The man looked at his watch and said, "Do you have a minute?" Lucas said, "I'm in a rush." The man smiled kindly and said, "Take your time." Lucas relaxed a little. Then the man asked, "So, what do you think about this city?" Lucas smiled and said, "What do you think?" The man laughed. Lucas continued, "I like it. The people are friendly." The man nodded and said, "I totally agree." But then he added jokingly, "I'm not sure I agree about the weather though." Lucas laughed. The man said thoughtfully, "That's a good point." Lucas nodded. "I hadn't thought of that." The man smiled and said, "You could be right." Lucas shrugged and said jokingly, "Let's agree to disagree." They both laughed again. Suddenly, Lucas remembered something. He looked embarrassed and said, "I've changed my mind." The man looked confused. Lucas explained, "Let me think about it. Maybe I should get coffee first." The man pointed at the cafe. Lucas hesitated and said, "I'm not in the mood for coffee today." The man laughed. Lucas quickly added, "Don't take it personally." The man raised his hands and said jokingly, "Hey, it doesn't matter." Lucas smiled. "I'm sorry," Lucas said. "I didn't mean to sound rude." The man replied kindly, "It's not your fault." Lucas nodded. The man added with a smile, "Things happen." Just then, a woman walked out of the cafe and looked at Lucas carefully. Suddenly, she smiled widely. "Long time no see," she said. Lucas looked surprised. "Anna?" She laughed. "It's been a while." Lucas said, "I didn't expect to see you here." Anna smiled and said to the man, "Thanks for your help." Lucas nodded and added sincerely, "I really appreciate it." The man waved his hand and said, "Any time." Lucas smiled. The man added, "Don't mention it." Anna laughed and said, "No worries." Lucas looked at Anna and said, "So, coffee?" Anna smiled. "That's fine with me." Lucas nodded and said, "Sounds good to me." Anna pointed at the cafe door and said with a big smile, "Let's do it." And together they walked into the warm cafe while the rain continued falling outside.